I got a review of world history, and especially in detail for the next 400 years. The people of the future look back on us in this time as the giants of history. Can you believe that? It's absolutely amazing. We don't even know what we're doing that is benefiting mankind. Those of us that lived in the Industrial Revolution are a small burst of energy that set mankind free, because we're not meant to be industrial animals. The Industrial Revolution altogether will be a small segment of human evolution. The future is non-industrial. We can talk about that later if you want to, but the future is non-industrial.
Hello, this is Mellon Thomas, and I hope that my insights from the other side will in some good way inspire you to love your life and this miracle planet that we share with all of Gaia's children. We are all, in so many ways, blessed beyond measure. This is CD number 3 in the series, Insights from the Other Side. On this CD is the second interview with Barbara Rose, entitled, Preparing for the World Not to End.
The end of karma is very, very exciting, and a way to get into it is to say that, I don't know how many people have noticed this, but I've been talking about it ever since I came back, that all the prophecies on earth of every culture there is ends in our lifetime. And that's because the ancients had no way to predict what's going to happen next. And that's, again, because up till now the future's been very, very easy to predict.
This is kind of interesting. Is that perhaps why the Muslims, the Islamic people, say that Muhammad is the last prophet? That's always confusing.
Well, that's their version, and that's their reality.
Is that speaking perhaps to this time?
Not really. We're going to have wise ones with us for a long time. We manifest these beings. The humanity manifests these beings, these Christ consciousnesses. They're just a part of ourself that we manifest. And the end of karma is very, very interesting. There's, in the Industrial Revolution has broken up the old world, and the Industrial Revolution broke up that old family unit that was a very narrow band of consciousness. And the fundamentalists are freaking about this, but really, in Gaia's sense, it's a freeing of the system for further growth. What it allows us to do is extend families beyond the bloodline now. We have foster families, we have extended families now, and we also are we're creating new types of families that are not necessarily related to bloodline. Much stronger, in fact, and freer of the old things. The other thing is that en masse, people are disassociating from the past now. Not that the past is bad, it's just that it's time to change. And literally, it's okay to go back into the past and rewrite your history. Any of your history you don't like, you don't have to carry anymore. You're not stuck with it. And I do quite a bit of this work in my own life and with others. And anytime I go into a past life in which there's something I don't like, I get the lesson first. It is perfectly all right and possible and tangible to go into the past and rewrite your history and create a new history. I've been doing this work extensively in my life since I came back, and I can go back. I revisit past lives now to enjoy them, to spend time
Can you give
there.
us an example?
Well, all of us have had some good lives, believe it or not. We've all had a couple of good lives here or there, many lives actually. I have a life that I like to revisit in Germany around the 14th century, and I was a peasant, but I had a nice family and a couple of boys, and I had a cow and a good wife and a little hovel to live in, and one of my favorite things was going hunting with the boys in the woods. It was spend days, and camping and come back with a catch. And I remember in that life, one of the highlights of that life was when I traded somebody for a cow.
You traded somebody for...
I actually got my own cow, and that's like having a Cadillac or something. It was
what did you trade for the cow?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but it involves, whenever the landlords got in fights back then, they got the tenant farmers to fight for them, and I happened to be on the land of a lord that was always arguing with everybody, and if you didn't go fight, they put you off the land. And they didn't pay you to fight either.
So this was a conscription deal.
Pretty much. They didn't pay you to fight. So what the peasants would do is they'd go fight and risk their lives, but boy, when they got into town, they pillaged, because we weren't being paid to risk our lives. So you got good at looting. And I didn't catch on to this for a while. I would always get in the wrong end of town and find it all looted. I discovered by accident, because I was very ignorant, that books were valuable, and the looters were overlooking the books. But I would find these books in some homes that had gold in them, and I thought it was just gold and valuable. And when I went to the next town, rich people wanted them. So I remember trading a book for a cow. It must have been a really good book, because the man gave me a whole cow for it. And I thought that was the best deal I ever made. And on the way home, I bought some bread and some honey, and had me some milk, and I had just the greatest time. You see, simple things like that.
What was your most dramatic life memory?
Past life memory was when I ended my warrior path. Many of us have been on the warrior path for many lifetimes.
Hard to avoid it, I would think.
I was one of them. I've spent many lifetimes as a monk or a priest, warrior priest, who was fighting for what I thought was right, whatever that was at the time. And I remember my last life as a warrior. When I left the warrior path, I was a monk who would fight and kill for the side that I was on. And I remember in those days, you would stop fighting around sunset, and you would literally go through the fields giving the coup de grace, the killing off the wounded, because that was grace. You wouldn't let them suffer and let the dogs eat them and all that sort of thing. So it was at sunset, and I was moving through the field with some other monks just killing the wounded. And they would look in my eyes with such grace, saying thank you, as we would kill them quickly and move through the field. And we'd finished killing off the wounded, and I was wiping my sword, and an angel appeared to me and said, you'll never do this again. It's over now. And I remember literally breaking my sword and walking off from the field, and I've never been a warrior since.
Hello, this is Mellon Thomas. Thank you.